Community Energy Project is premiering its new documentary, Grassroots to the Grid, on May 29th at the Red on Salmon in Portland. The film highlights local families and advocates leading clean energy and climate action across the city. And the event includes a community resource fair at 2:30 p.m. before the film screens at 5:30 p.m. Get tickets now at cepdoc.eventbrite.com. That's cepdoc.eventbrite.com. Did you know it's now legal to pass people on bicycles in a no passing zone in Oregon, as long as they're riding at less than half the speed limit? If you're thinking of passing a bicyclist, ODOT recommends to first just be patient, wait for a good moment to pass, and then once it's clear, to move fully into the next lane and pass at 5 miles below the speed limit. And lastly, wait until you see the bicyclist in your rearview mirror before you move back over. When you take these steps to avoid crowding people on bikes, it keeps everyone safe on Oregon's roads. A message from ODOT. Today on CityCast Portland, we're talking about Portland City Council battling it out over the budget and what's to come in November now that the primary election is over. Plus, Portland's growing pre-professional sports empire and what's in store this season. Joining me are Willamette Week arts and culture reporter Rachel Saslow and our very own senior producer, Rachel Monahan. Thanks for being here, you two.
Thank you for having us.
Good to be here.
2 Rachels in one episode. For full transparency, I voted against it, but was outnumbered in the final count.
2-1, 2-1.
It was basically 2-1. I'm joking. But should we constitute a Rachel 1, Rachel 2 point of order, or is Rachel M and Rachel S a better way forward?
I feel like Rachel M and Rachel S would go better for me.
Okay, great. Also,
Is that okay?
I was going to let you guys duke it out for the 1 or the 2.
Yeah, I was going to say I won't remember those.
Awesome. So normally I do ask an opening question at the top, but this week was City Council's budget amendment hearing. And I watched a good chunk of Tuesday and Wednesday's meetings. So basically it's like 3 days. On Monday, they got public testimony. Tuesdays, they looked over anything that had to do with public safety, that kind of thing. And then on Wednesday, they looked at pretty much everything else. Parks, how the city's running, all that stuff. So it was chock full. And the Portland Mercury, I think, covered the sessions most thoroughly. Like they had a reporter there at all times. And I know that many people rightfully find the minutia of local government boring as all heck. But I just want to play you a clip now to try and convince everyone that tuning into these yearly budget amendment meetings are like watching the most niche, Bravo-produced reality TV show that I would simply just call The Council.
Counselor, you are out of order.
We only did
Counselor, you are out of order.
You've been out of order the whole time.
I had every single one of your colleagues come to me and say that we do not fully understand or appreciate what we are voting on or
Not
the amount.
true. They knew
Counselor,
exactly
you are
what
out
they
of
were
order.
voting on.
It is not something I did to you. It is something that you repeatedly changed.
You
the
moved
statistics.
to table it. You moved to table it, and they
8 of your
supported you.
colleagues
And you
reported
told
it.
them before that
Thank
you were going to do
Counselor,
it.
you
You told
are out
them
of order.
before you were going to do it.
Counselor,
You've been out of order since you got
Counselor,
this
you are
job.
out of order.
You're out of order. Make
you.
me stop. Make me
Is
stop,
that an
Mr.
appeal,
President.
Counselor? Is that an appeal of the rule of the chair? You are no longer recognized. Thank you. Can we please move to a vote?
Take the vote then, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so what you heard there was District 1 Councilor Loretta Smith going absolutely Al Pacino on City Council President Dunphy, while Dunphy attempted to reclaim order. Now, I gotta say, this was as heated as it got.
Just yikes.
Yeah. But it's not representative of the work that was done in those 3 days of budget amendments. But it does illustrate a few major points of frustration that was seen over and over again, which were petty office politics, hurt egos, and the very real concern of where the money was coming from for these proposed amendments. So the context of the clip you just heard is Councilor Smith being upset that Councilor Samir Kanal had brought up an amendment that funded something that she also wanted to fund, but in a different way. So I'm oversimplifying, but that was the crux. Specifically, it was over SEI, or Self-Enhancement Inc. affordable housing. This directly affected Councillor Kunal's District 2, so he found a solution that most of council agreed would work. And Smith, who was working on an ordinance for next week to address it, clearly felt undercut and possibly outmaneuvered. But in Councillor Smith's defense, she boiled over because, adding insult to injury to her ego, some counselors were just not being respectful. She was getting hit with aggressive side convos, getting rudely cut off with points of order that, though procedural, just felt condescending. And I saw in real time, y'all, a woman on the verge actually fall off the ledge.
One of the things I think about when you are saying they were in these meetings for 2 days straight is you're dealing with a lot of fatigue, like physically and mentally. And I mean, it's only human to only be able to take so much at that point. Also, you had me at Bravo, the council. What an inspired idea. That might have just been a throwaway line, but right when you played the clip, I just saw the whole thing come together. So I think you should tuck that in your back pocket.
Thank you. I need you to know that people that I know who work at the city forwarded me that clip. Eventually, Portland Mercury posted it, parts of it, but they forwarded me that clip and I was all in. I watched the whole thing, missed a good part of my friend's birthday party to watch the whole thing. Ended up staying up later, watched yesterday's because I was like, wait, what happened yesterday? What I miss? And it was, again, I'm not saying that what Councillor Loretta Smith was trying to argue was valid or correct. I'm just saying, as you kind of pointed out, Rachel S., that from a purely human perspective of anyone with the most average of emotional intelligence, it made sense why she cracked. And that is why these meetings are so endlessly fascinating. You can just see all of the wheels turning. So that particular exchange was deemed political football by Councillor Kunal. But overall, I got to tell you guys, what I saw happen in those 2 days of actual going back and forth was political rugby. So I don't know if you guys know how rugby is played, but you can't pass the ball forward. You have to pass the ball backwards to your teammate.
Interesting metaphor there. Yeah.
I would see a particular piece in a counselor's amendment wouldn't pass. So it would fall back and then another counselor would jump in and try to save it in their amendment to keep that play going. And these would be counselors who have historically been on the opposite side of an issue. So even though it appeared violent, overall they were working as a team. But up to a certain point, because by the third day, which was when the council was discussing shelters, parks, and city jobs, most arguments, again, only occurred on where the money was coming from. And what came up over and over and over again was that most of Peacock, which is what the progressive 6 or so of our counselors call themselves, they felt more comfortable dipping into contingency funds and future years of certain levies, like the Parks levy, for current funding, while the older and more fiscally conservative counselors kept voting against it. And Councillor Kunal got so frustrated that at one point he was like, okay, so you keep knocking our ideas down. So what's your idea? What is your solution? But even with all the back and forth, some major amendments passed. Murillo restored funding to community health and safety programs like Project Ceasefire and Portland Street Response, among others. Kunal found funding to preserve a fire engine in St. John's Station 22. Novick and Murillo created a city data and privacy office by allocating $800,000 from various sources, which is a crazy hard thing to accomplish in a contentious budget cycle. And Dunphy saved the small arts grants, which was something that most people would just throw away, So they did good work. I mean, something like 16 amendments passed out of the 45 that were proposed. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you saw the meetings, you would just be like, good job, guys. You all tried.
I think going back to the tension, that's the most dramatic part of this hearing. They are under a lot of pressure because of the budget situation that the city is in. There's a major budget shortfall, and they're trying to save the things that they can from cuts, though there are going to be dramatic cuts no matter what they do. And yeah, who likes meetings? Who likes day-long meetings? That's incredibly stressful.
I can't imagine.
Overall, it was mostly Peacock counselors who passed their amendments, with the exception of like Counselor Loretta Smith, who also got a few in. And I think compared to last year, this was a much smoother process because I also did peek into last year's amendment meetings. And I don't know if you guys remember, last year they proposed 120 amendments. This year, they wisely proposed only 45. So they got better about knowing how things worked. They also got better about when they needed to take breaks and eat something. Like they were more just like, all right, we need to take a break, as opposed to just like trying to pummel through. And though there were still plenty of heated jabs or passive-aggressive statements, overall, most counselors kept their composure, aside from the clip that I played at the top, which again, all tired. Specifically, most were tired of Counselor Loretta Smith, who no matter what was still effective. Just so you know, next week we're going to have some reporters on to talk a little bit more deeply about these amendments, because next what happens is the city will send the approved budget to tax supervision and the Conservation Commission for review. So this isn't done quite yet. Like, I'm curious, do the counselors have enough time? Because guys, I was seeing some of these amendments come through that were just like so half-baked. Even if I agreed with them, there was like, where is it being budgeted? I don't know. Oh, by the way, half of those numbers are wrong. And just stuff like that where you're just like, that shouldn't even be up here. So I'm curious about like asking those questions. But yeah, that's basically in general what I saw, which was still a vast improvement from last year. I think Council President Dunphy actually did a pretty good job of managing it all, which was, again, massive undertaking.
I mean, thank you for watching all that as a citizen, as a journalist. I don't think I've missed any birthday parties to watch city proceedings, but there will definitely be mornings in the newsroom where something will have popped off in a public meeting and we'll kind of all gather around someone's laptop to watch someone really lose it. So I understand the appeal for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking in on Bravo's The Council.
Yes. We can't wait to hear how it goes through development, Claudia.
Well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, Rachel is going to talk through what happened at the primary election. History comes to life in Titanic, the artifact exhibition now on view at OMSI. Immerse yourself in a rare opportunity to explore the innovation, ambition, and tragedy of the Titanic while connecting personally with the people whose lives were forever changed by her voyage. With more than 100 authentic artifacts recovered from the wreck site, you'll experience an immersive gallery combining cinematic visuals and powerful audio reenactments that bring the ship's scale, beauty, and tragedy to life. There's also an optional VR tour for a deeper, more interactive exploration. Titanic, the Artifact Exhibition is on view now. Get tickets at omsi.edu. That's omsi.edu. Rachel M., you looked over the primary election results. I know we can't go through every single race, but what are we looking forward to in November? Who am I voting for?
Well, I'm going to check in on the top of the ticket. You heard an accurate prediction of this if you listen to our Monday election preview podcast. Governor Tina Kotek, who I'm sure a lot of you know is the Democrat, will face the same Republican opponent as 4 years ago. That's Christine Drazan, who serves in the state Senate. You're going to hear a lot about how the governor's race is a rematch, but there are some key differences from 2022, and I was going to run through a few of those. First, there is actually something working in the Republicans' favor in our blue state, and that's that the governor is now an incumbent, and she is a very unpopular incumbent at the moment. The Oregonian's Carlos Fuentes reported on some of the most striking polling on this earlier this month, and that's that even among Multnomah County voters, and, Democrats outnumber Republicans here 5-1, she's unpopular, with 56% disapproving of her job performance. That's one striking point. So I'm curious, do you have a reaction to that? Are you thinking the Republican has a shot here?
I never think the Republican has a shot in Oregon. I got to be honest. I feel like every time we say they do, it's for clicks or I just can't. I mean, Rachel S., I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I can't really see it either. I did a little bit of reading on this, and it looks like the last Republican Oregon governor was Vic Atia back in the early 80s. So it has happened. And there are some like classically blue states that have had a Republican governor pretty recently, like Massachusetts, like big blue states.
Yeah.
So I am going to hold it as a possibility. I am. Even though it seems weird, I am going to hold it. Yeah.
I was reading somebody's reporting and they mentioned that the last time there was a Republican governor in Oregon, Mount St. Helens still had a cap. That's how long ago it was.
I will say that Tom McCall was an excellent governor and he was a Republican.
But is a 1970s Republican.
Oh, no, it is a 1970s Republican.
Even the same thing.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? I think it's a totally different thing.
100% Rachel S.
Yeah.
100%. I feel like that Tom McCall is basically as Republican as Tina Kotek is now.
Totally. Yeah. His main issues were like sustainability and the urban growth boundary.
And environmental. Yeah.
Yeah. And biking and like, yeah. So.
And the bottle bill and giving us the coast as like, making that public. So anyway,
yes.
I did want to mention something that definitely works in the Democrats' favor. It's pretty obvious, maybe. President Trump, who like a lot of people disapprove of right now. Lauren Dake of OPB had a story on this week of how Trump's actions loom large in the race. When Trump is in office, it tends to energize Democrats, and that helps local Democrats who are on the ballot in a blue state. And Trump is massively unpopular right now. His war in Iran is hitting pocketbooks at home, and that is a major problem for Republicans everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sort of pausing to see if you had a point there on our president, but
no, I agree.
So, I think the cost of living cuts both ways. If you'll recall, the Democrats, including Kotek, did support a 6 cents a gallon gas tax increase. And Republicans locally are going to try and make cost of living a Kotek problem in the fall.
Okay.
The gas tax did get voted down dramatically, as predicted. More than 80% of voters voted against that. But from my perspective, I am assuming that Trump will be more front of mind when voters think about gas prices in the fall or other costs of living. So, yeah.
Yeah. When we had political strategist Jake Weigler on, he pretty much called. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure no one's going to vote for this gas tax, which the problem there is then, okay, then how do we pay for our roads? So I know that question is going to have to come up again. I am, though, curious about the judge races, or county judge races, because I know something crazy happened. Like, people gave a crap.
It was shocking, right? To drive around and see all the judge signs. I was like, I can't remember ever seeing this. And it was very interesting.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever gotten to the bottom of why there were 4 contested judge races in one election. Like, that is pretty dramatic. But the most striking one was sitting judge Adrienne Brown. She faced a challenger, which is quite uncommon, and she lost as well, which is unusual. And if our listeners recall, she had a pretty public spat with DA Nathan Vasquez, who disqualified her, which he is allowed to do, from hearing major felony cases. So in the end, she was not reelected, and that happened in May. 2 of the races will go on to the fall. So, yeah, we'll hear more
about
runoff?
Those.
Yep, a runoff. So if you want to, there's plenty more election coverage out there. The Oregonian and OPB have extensive coverage, and you can check out election results, the full election results across the state on the Oregon Secretary of State's results page. And we, of course, will cover the fall election. Multnomah County and Portland City Council, those races were not on the May ballot because we have ranked choice voting. So look out for that in coming months.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Rachel M. I love this, by the way. I love this system. Thank you, Rachel M. When we come back, Rachel S. is going to explain what the cherry bombs are.
I can't wait. And I also didn't get a chance to be Rachel M in grade school. I never had another Rachel. So this is like a dream.
True.
I had the opposite experience where I'm having flashbacks to first grade where it was Rachel B, Rachel C, and Rachel T. I was Rachel B because I went to elementary school in the 80s and Rachel was such a popular name. I went to school with tons and tons of Rachel. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback for me.
So, Rachel S.
Yes.
I love the idea of a pre-professional, which, by the way, I Googled because I couldn't believe that was actually a term, a pre-professional sports empire, because we do have one. Can you explain, like, what we're talking about here?
Sure. So, pre-professional, I will break that down for you. It is college students almost exclusively who are home for the summer or have summer break, and they get to play in these super fun teams. It started about 11 years ago with the Portland Pickles, who play at Lentz Park and have become a bona fide cultural sensation in Portland. They have all these different traditions, Woof Wednesdays, Dylan's Drag Race, Emo Night, all these different theme nights became like a big deal for them. And it's these college students who play baseball in Lentz Park. It's a lovely evening out. It's not super expensive. It's great. So that became a whole thing, and it's owned by a company called Collide Sports. And the head of that is this guy, Alan Miller, who I've interviewed a couple of times. And the Pickles, basically riding off of that momentum, Collide has since launched 2 more teams in the last few years. They first launched the Portland Bangers, which is the men's pre-professional soccer team. And their season 2 kicked off in May. And now we have a women's team, the Cherry Bombs, and they also just kicked off their very first season on May 17th. And they will have 7 home games through June 28th, also at Lentz Park. So that's sort of like the headquarters for this whole movement.
It's all Lentz Park. Gotcha.
I want to hear about the opera. Like, is that going to become a cultural phenomenon now?
Okay, the Portland Opera will be performing at every single home game for the Portland Cherry Bombs, which is the women's team. And when I got this press release last week,
was it April Fool's?
No, I couldn't understand it, you guys. I read it and I was like, okay, Cherry Bombs, soccer team, Portland Opera, collaboration. And I just like called the Cherry Bombs and I was like, I'm not understanding. Are we talking about arias at halftime? Are we talking about costumes? I couldn't understand how they would be like incorporating Portland Opera into soccer in a way that made any sense. So they sent me a video, and it showed all of these opera singers, and they were chanting, doing like classic kind of soccer chants, but then also sort of breaking into song at the end. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Then it totally made sense. So they will have 4 singers there at every single, and someone on piano at every single home game, and they'll be leading chants, and they'll also be like calling the game a little bit too. So it's going to be a really cool
like a chorus,
collaboration.
like an operatic chorus for the
Exactly
great
like that.
tragedy that is that game. Okay, that is amazing. I need to know whose idea that was. Could you imagine, like, you're just like soccer, pre-professional college.
I know the answer to this. Okay. The Cherry Bombs and the Portland Opera both have their administrative offices in the World Trade Center building downtown. And I think it was this organic thing that happened because they were just in the same space and the conversations
That is amazing.
happened. Isn't that great?
Yes.
I love that.
Rachel S., you are making a strong point for like in-person
I
work.
mean, I will ring that bell all day. I feel like so many good random things come of when we're all humans collaborating in a physical space. Maybe not. I don't need it to be 5 days a week, 9 to 5, but there are little moments like this where it just couldn't have happened. You know what I mean?
No, of course it had to be organic because like I was like, who would have equated, college level women's soccer with like, what would be fucking sick? Opera. I'm so glad I am 100% going to a game just to witness that.
I mean, it is a surprising collaboration, but actually in my reporting on Portland Opera, classical music and especially opera are always being super innovative about how to get their art to the people in unexpected ways. Think of like Opera in the Park, which is, at Peninsula Park every summer. Or they have like opera a la carte where it like goes out into the community. So they're always innovating in this way. So it didn't shock me quite like it shocked a lot of people because I know they are always so intentional about getting their music to the people.
Okay, so again, the season already started. Where do we go to find these tickets? How much are tickets, by the way?
Ooh, I don't know. I looked and it was pretty surprisingly inexpensive. I don't have a number off the top of my head, but they have a website, they have a great Instagram presence, and they have theme nights too. They have great merch. It's all Riot Girl inspired. Have you guys seen this merch?
Mm-mm.
I was pleasantly surprised by their mascot because I was expecting something kind of horrendous like the sausage.
Yes.
Which I know people like despite, but I mean, it's terrifying. And I was like, oh man, what are they going to do with the women's? And no, Cherry Bomb is cool as F. And I was actually hoping they would play, I don't think they have the rights to it, but they would play Cherry Bomb by the runways every time the team would come out. But now I'm like, in opera,
Yeah, I love their marketing. It's all black and red. It's got red lipstick. I also love that they're a corporate sponsor, or not corporate sponsor, but their sponsor is Planned Parenthood. So their jerseys say Planned Parenthood
cool.
super big across the front. It's just like the vibes are all right, I think. And
I
think
tickets
one
now.
thing that I thought was so funny is like the Portland Pickles, so much of their marketing is just like dick jokes. It just is. And I asked Alan Miller about this once. I said like, and then when they announced the bangers and I'm like, okay, so we're staying in this lane. We are keeping it going. And I asked him once, like, do you ever get tired of dick jokes? And he said, no. It never gets old. And so here we are with the Cherry Bombs, just keeping the momentum and the puns going. So yeah.
I love Dylan and I love the Cherry Bombs, but the bangers thing is so like horrifying, as Claudia mentioned, is like, are there any regrets at corporate headquarters over that scary monster of a mascot?
As far as they definitely did not tip their hand that they have any regrets. Let's do his name correctly. It's Saucy the Sausage, Saucy T Sausage.
Saucy T Sausage, got it.
The last time I talked to them about Saucy, what they told me, I think they were still so ecstatic that it made like the late shows, like when they debuted the mascot,
because it was so horrendous
horrifying to so many people. It made the late shows, and from a marketing, I'm not a marketer, but I think from a marketing standpoint, that's still a big success to them. Always take a look at the Portland Pickles promo nights if you don't already do that. I have my eye on June 20th, which is Moms Gone Wild. They will be providing salon services for moms, and I love this detail. It is on the eve of Father's Day. Just so good. It's just so bratty. Oh, I love it. So anyway, but look at the promo schedule, see what speaks to you. I try and get out there to a couple games every summer.
We'll link to the website in our show notes for easier access. Rachel S., thank you for coming on and going over the new team that we have to look forward to. Before we head out, though, we do have some shout outs. It's one of the perks of being a pay member of CityCast Portland. You have the opportunity to shout out a local business and organization that you love. Rachel M., do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I love this shout out. It's from listener Irisa P. So Lardo on Hawthorne was giving out free sandwiches to Portland Public School teachers on their furlough days. So our member says, thanks, Lardo, for supporting our teachers and therefore our future. May many students learn from your kind gesture. And Irissa says they also hear that Grasso and Blutos did this, but they went to Lardo. Anyway, that's that lovely shout out.
Nice. Well, here's another one from Jenna A. that says, Hound and Hare Vintage in St. John's is packed full of unique and interesting treasures. Last time I was poking around inside, the owner mentioned that she needs a larger space. Please, someone help her find another spot in St. John's. I've actually been in there and it's really awesome. It is pretty small. Shout out to Irissa and Jenna, and a special thank you to Griffin G for becoming a CityCast Portland neighbor this week. When you join as a Portland neighbor, we'd also be happy to share your shout outs of places you love in Portland, alongside a bunch of other perks like ad-free listening and member-only invites. You can join at membership.citycast.fm. You guys, thank you so much. The Rachels, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, good to be here.
You too. Thanks for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thank you so much for listening. Our podcast production team this week was John Atariani, Julia Fiaioni, Rachel Monahan, Jesse Wiza, and myself. Original music by Jenny Conley and Stephen Drizos. Additional music by All the Kimonos. Our ad music is by Sven Linville and Sarah the Instrumentalist from Epidemic Sound via Getty Images. We'll be back Monday morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's or at the Cherry Bombs, because I am definitely going to go.